On page 11, when you're doing business, and Maran is saying, remember, business should be your second priority, not your first. Even if you do more hours of it, but in your mind, Torah should be your main focus. Visa v'iten, top of page 11. You see in the bold? Visa v'iten, and you should give and take, meaning do business be'emunah, with trustworthiness, with honesty. You know what Kiddush Hashem makes when someone does business with a Jew? And you go out of your way to be honest. You go out of your way to make a Kiddush Hashem. I owe you 3 cents. Pay the 3 cents. Why? Our national dignity rests on your shoulders and your business tactics. Be straight with people. Be honest with people. Vizer melazkir shem shamayim levatala. Vizer. You should be careful. Milazkir, from uttering Shem Shamayim, the name of Shamayim, meaning Hashem's name, levatala, for no purpose. And be careful not to use Hashem's name for no reason when you do business. People have a lot of, I swear to this, by God that, but just speak like a human being. Don't get involved in using Hashem's name. Shebechol makom, because in every case, shehazkarat Hashem, that the utterance of Hashem's name, mitzuya, is found. Mita mitzuya, death is found.
Wow.
It's one of the 10 Commandments. Correct. Vizaher, and you should be particular, careful, milishava, from swearing, afilu be'emet, even on true things. I mean, that was about lies. Now we're talking about true things. Even about true things. She'elef ayarot, there were 1,000 cities. Hayuli Yanai HaMelech, that Yanai the king, Yanai HaMelech had. Remember Yanai the king? Who was it? We'll get there in a second. He had 1,000 cities, v'chulam nechevun, they all were destroyed. Bishvil, because shehayu nishbaim, because they swore shvuot, oaths. Afal pisham mekayim them, even though they followed them, they stuck true to their word. I mean, they swore something, they followed through with it, and the cities were still destroyed because of it. There's a whole world of Agarata here that we would have to delve into. What does it mean? Why, wherever there's Hashem's name, there's death. It's Yanai Melech is, yeah, there was a Jewish king still in Israel. Yanai the king was the husband of Shlom Tzion the queen. You may remember Shlom Tzion. Shlom Tzion, they have streets in Jerusalem named after. You know Shlom Tzion? When you walk up the town from the Mamila, there's a little alley that has like a bunch of pubs on your left hand.
Yeah, sure.
The black burger.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
that?
I know.
That's called Shlom Tzion HaMalkat. That street, the Shlom Tzion. Shlom Tzion had a brother who was a famous rabbi, Rabbi Shimon ben Shetach. Rabbi Shimon ben Shetach was the best friend of another rabbi called Rabbi Yehoshua ben Parachia. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Parachia was the rabbi of?
I don't know, it sounds right.
Of Yeshu,
Oh.
of Jesus. He's the author of the 6th Mishnah in the 1st chapter of Kehillat. This time in history is very important. Yanai, the king, starts to murder rabbis. He goes on a rabbi hunt. He had a falling out with rabbis. And he starts murdering them in the street, rounding up rabbis and killing them. And the yeshiva of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Parachia, including Yeshu, they run away. They flee to Alexandria in Egypt. The only rabbi who didn't flee the land of Israel was Shimon ben Shetach. Rabbi Shimon ben Shetach is the king's brother-in-law. So the king is afraid of the whole world, except that he's not afraid of anybody except for his wife. Don't touch my brother, or you'll never see the end of it. So he is safe in the land of Israel. And he essentially becomes the go-between between the rabbis in Israel and the rabbis in the exile. At a certain point, Yanai, the king, does tshuva. It's a crazy story. He does tshuva. He becomes a supporter of Torah in the land of Israel. And Shimon ben Shetach has to send a message back to his friends in the exile. Come back, it's safe in Jerusalem, the coast is clear. And they don't know, was it a real message, not a real message? They end up coming. Rabbi Shimon ben Yeshiva starts traveling up towards Jerusalem again. And they stay over in a hotel. And the halakha is that before you eat food at somebody's house, you should give a praise to the host and hostess. And the rabbi said, you know, really, it's my beautiful hostess, the beautiful host and hostess, such beautiful people, thank you for having us. And Yeshu steps as rabbi, you think she's beautiful? Look how ugly she is, look at her eyes. Rabbi Shimon ben Yeshiva says, Rasha, you evil man, bekach osek. That's what you look at. You come to a man's house who's married and you look at his wife, you check out her eyes. He says, that's what you're involved in? He takes out a shofar, which is the way to excommunicate a person, and he excommunicates him from the community, throws him out of the yeshiva. I don't want a student like you in my yeshiva. How do you come to another man's house and look at his wife? And that's literally the beginning of the end. Yeshu tries to come back a few times, and his rabbi doesn't accept him. And in the time that his rabbi was going to accept him, Yeshu misinterprets that desire to come back, and he leaves, and he becomes the famous Yeshu.
Is that why they call it the second coming?
But this Yanai, the king, this is who we're talking about, the king Yanai. There's a set of books that I highly recommend. A lot of the books that are written in Jewish history, and there are some that are very fascinating, they're just very dry. You know, it's hard. History in general. It depends on who. You can have experts in history that don't know how to convey the messages of history properly. There's one rabbi that did a tremendous job with the history of our sages. His name is Rabbi Dr. Benny Lau. He used to write in Hebrew, but today Koren has translated his books into English. He's not officially Koren, it's like Magid or Toby or one of those. It's like affiliated with Koren, that press. And they have now 4 volumes. He has books called Our Sages. I teach for them. I actually taught from them on Shabbat the other week. And it used to be in Hebrew, now it's in English. And what he does is he goes through the different sages and the different periods in Mishnah and the Talmud. And doesn't just tell you like dry facts about the history of this one and the king of Rome. And he talks about the details of who this rabbi was, the teachings that we find from him in the Talmud, the different rabbis that addressed his thoughts, who agreed with him, who didn't, what the political arena at that time looked like and how that influenced the teachings of this rabbi. And it gives you such a beautiful, wholesome outlook on the entire period of the Mishnah and the Talmud. All of a sudden you realize these rabbis were not just names that we quote, but they were big players in the Jewish community, also on a political level, also with the Romans, also with the Jews, with the different breakaway sects, and where the different philosophies that we have today in the Jewish tradition, where they were culled from. What an incredible thing. Mamash unbelievable. I cannot recommend enough for you to get your hands on these books and to read them. I know it's a lot of books, but start with one at a time. You don't have to buy them in a set. The first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. It'll help you a lot.
They're well written too.
Very well written. It's true. Thank you. On the top of page 12. We'll end with this for today, and then next week we'll do all the notes on this. For anyone who's listening to this video, for those of you who may not have been there, I recommend you listening to our 6-week course on idolatry. We have it online as like mosques and churches in Halakha. Remember that course that we did? This is the Ramah that we quoted there, about whether or not you can do business with a non-Jew. Remember this? Yeah. And we mentioned that the definition of non-Jew that the rabbis were talking about could have changed over time. Could be your average non-Jew is not an idol worshiper. He just is not Jewish. Not everyone is so devout. Remember we spoke about this. Is Christianity Avodah Zarah? Is Islam Avodah Zarah? We had these conversations. It's wise for someone who wasn't there to go back and look them up, because I won't elaborate in it as much as I did in that class. V'yizaher, and he should be careful lishtatef, from joining in a partnership bad. Straight out, Can you pass me the first volume of Mishnah Baruch from that shelf? The second volume, actually. It should say bet on the spine. It's the right to the right of the Kehillat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it should say bet on the spine. Thank you. You'll understand exactly in 1 minute what I'm doing. How do I hate the Catholic Church?
What?
This Shulchan Aruch is edited. It's censored by the Catholic Church.
This one?
Which
was it?
All the Shulchan Aruchs you have are going to be censored somewhere or another. This word is censored. I'm going to read it to you and you're going to understand why it doesn't make sense. One should be careful not to become a partner in business in Ben Noach with a Ben Noach, which is a righteous Gentile who follows the 7 mitzvot of Noach. Oved avodat elim, who worships idols.
Well,
Right.
How can you be a Ben Noach and worship idols?
Yeah, it makes sense.
By definition, you can.
Yeah.
Except the translation in this is not a righteous Gentile, but a Gentile.
A Gentile, what does it say?
Out of concern that you'll take an oath, Jew will be in violation.
But it just says Gentile. I mean, identifying
It
the
says
partner.
Gentile.
The editions of the Shulchan Aruch I have here say one should be careful not to do business with the Kutim. The Kutim were a group of people who were like an addition, an add-on to Judaism. They were non-righteous converts to Judaism who kind of developed their own community inside of the Jewish community.
It's like an Arab God.
So they can't be converts if they were not righteous.
It's a famous part of our history. I would suggest go look online for the Kutim. They might call them Kusim. But it's good to us. Doesn't make a difference. I'm gonna have to do my research over this next week. What the original version of Shulchan Aruch says. My guess, it said Goyim. And the Catholic Church, whose agenda is always to make themselves part of the chosen people. So they don't like when we use the word Goyim because it includes them also. And so what they would do is they would edit our books and force us to print pagans. Because pagans, they're not. Goyim, they are. And that way they would say, see, it's not talking about us, it's talking about them, those crazy tribes that bow down to idols.
But the church talks about Gentiles as well, non-Catholics.
Oh, very good. Why? Where do they get that concept from?
From us.
They took our chosen people idea and then used it against everybody else in the world, including us.
The heathen.
So you mean they were the chosen?
Yeah.
They were the chosen, and they even would agree that at this point in history we were the chosen, but that's why they don't want to say about non-Jews. They wanted to say a specific kind of non-Jews, the pagan non-Jews. But whoever did this editing messed up because you can't both be a righteous Gentile and a pagan.
Yeah.
And then it can't be a kuti because kutim is generally a code word for, it used to say non-Jew here, but we're sticking in this word instead. I have a PDF version of a Shulchan Aruch that was printed, I believe, while Rabbi Yosef Karo was still alive.
Oh, wow.
And I'm gonna go look it up and see what it says over there. Until then, read this simply the way Jackson says, which is we're talking about a non-Jew who presumably worships idols. That the whole question we had in our class then was, what about a non-Jew who doesn't worship idols, right? So here we're talking about somebody who's an idol worshiper.
And what is idol worship now?
And what exactly? Shema yitchayev lo shvuah. The reason you shouldn't do business with him is because maybe you'll owe him a promise. I mean, you'll have to swear on something. Vovel mishum lo yishma al picha, and then he'll be. How does it exactly translate?
What is this?
The next one.
You shouldn't do a partnership with a non-Jew, lest he.
Lest they take an oath and the Jew will be in violation of Pichal Yishmalo.
Do they translate Val Yishmalu? There's this prohibition of causing someone else to swear in the name of their God. And if we say, oh, God willing, and they say, who knows, let's make up a name, Cookie Monster willing, then we caused him to make us an oath in the name of Avodah Zarah.
For Rosh Hashanah last week, when the Jews want to pass through the land, why do you not keep what your God, Hamish, whatever his name was, tells you to? It's like,
It seems like over there we're trying to invoke some kind of, just let us get through. Here, you're going to get in a situation where you will have to engage in each other's religions. Especially in a world where religion was used a lot in the workplace. The Ramah is going to comment on this, and we'll leave that on Hashem for next week. But let me look into this, please. I don't feel comfortable reading more without finding at least an original reading of Maran, what he meant to say. And this is my comment of, why do I hate the Catholic Church? I don't know who's in the Catholic Church today. Maybe I don't hate who's in the Catholic Church today. But the Catholic Church has done committed terrible crimes towards the Jewish community. And it's not just towards our books that have been forever edited, or the books that have still been stolen from us and are sitting in the Catholic Church's library, and they charge us money per copy that we copy in order to photocopy those books and reprint them. Remember the audacity? You stole this from somebody's Jewish grandfather, and now you're charging me 25 cents a page. What do you think you are?
They claim copyright on it now?
I don't know what they claim,
They
but
must be.
they let rabbis get in there and photocopy books. We have many transcripts, many books that we have from many original manuscripts from the Catholic Church. But what they've done to the Jewish people, tens of thousands of Jews that they erased their Judaism from them, and are walking among us here in San Diego, that are part of Am Yisrael. Their blood flowing through their veins is Jewish blood, and because of the Catholic Church that is still standing today, they don't know they're Jewish, and we don't know they're Jewish, and they're walking around, and you'll find so many people whose neshama doesn't connect to that faith, but they don't know what to do because Am Yisrael is not an option. Being brainwashed Catholic doesn't allow you the opportunity to say, you know what, maybe I'll explore Judaism. It doesn't really work that way. And for the thousands of people who try to experience Judaism through all kinds of counterfeit forms of Judaism that are out there offering themselves to Am Yisrael, that's a wrong that the Catholic Church not only has never made right, but I don't know if they ever can make it right.
then you get occasionally people who just, with their rational mind, they're able to figure out what is real.
That's true.
It's quite amazing.
That's true. And when they come to the Jewish community, their attitude that should be given towards them shouldn't be, are you still an undercover Christian? Do you still believe it? It should be, welcome home. It's been a few hundred years. We're happy to have you back. That should be the attitude. Because if they edited our books and that makes us upset, so what? It's a word. But they edited neshamot out of Judaism. They edited people, entire families out of Am Yisrael. Imagine if I told you, and whenever I speak about these people, you're exaggerating. It's so many hundreds of years ago. Imagine this is my family. My family is from Spain. I feel this like you feel it. But imagine if someone told you, you know those children who were taken by orphanages, Catholic orphanages in Poland and Russia and Hungary. They were saved from the Nazis, but they grew up thinking that they're non-Jewish. Imagine if I could get all those kids back from you.
The Pope refused to return them.
Refused to return them.
Refused.
And imagine if we could get them back, and you managed to arrange for the Catholic Church and all these orphanages to release the names of these children and where they live, and the Jewish community says, no, never mind, we don't want them. No, we're not sure. We have enough Jews, we don't need more. Imagine if somebody would say that.
No.
We say the same thing every single day towards people who were taken away from us by the Catholic Church just a few generations before. It has to change. Something has to change. They edited away our neshamot. We have to bring them back.
So in here it says that the Catholic Church should be treated more leniently now, but it says that it's still not permitted to have business dealings with them according to all opinions, as long as it is permitted, as long as it's not one of their holidays. So
that's the Ramah you're reading,
yeah.
right? And we're going to read it next week.
Okay.